Again, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now that the Rugby Championship is done and dusted, South Africa have won back-to-back Rugby Championships. I'm going to go into a bit of withdrawal in terms of international rugby. Thankfully, there is a little bit of club rugby ongoing. So I want to break down who makes my team of the championship. I'd love to hear who yours is. So please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's get into it. So this one was a very, very difficult choice because we've had so many ups and downs from so many different players in singular positions. I mean, just look at the back row. The back row is one of the most fought and contested positions on the field that I really struggle to put a couple players in position. So I am going to be working with players out of position. They aren't necessarily in their exact positions, but thereabouts. So I'd love to hear what you think, and I'd love to hear who made your team of the championship. So let's get into mine. So, I mean, in terms of my front three, it's pretty much Oxenche, it's Malcolm Marx, and Fletcher Newell. Fletcher Newell has been pretty consistent throughout the entire championship, and I thought he's played absolutely well. Oxenche has just been absolutely dominated whenever he came on. And Malcolm Marx, although he did have a slow start to the Rugby Championship, he finished in style, and he showed everybody why he is one of the best hookers in world rugby. And that is still not him at that elite level that we normally tend to see him at. So, yeah, that's my pack. In terms of in terms of my lock pairing, this one was a much more difficult decision that I had to make here. I was leaning a little bit more towards Nick Frost at 4 and then Ruan Nokia at 5, but honestly, I think I am going to be going for Pedro Rubiolo at 4, Ruan Nokia at 5. Both players, absolute, just stalwarts. They were monsters when it came down to the lineouts. They were monsters when it came down to the tackles. Ruan Nokia, I think his impact on the game is slightly watered down. Like, he doesn't get the credit that he actually deserves, and we see just how more consistent the Springboks are when we do have him in the team. So Pedro Rubiolo at 4, Ruan Nokia at 5. Now, the back row is one of the most difficult decisions that I've had to make, and a couple of players are out of position because the 7s are just ridiculous. So I have gone for Pieter-Steph du Toit at 6, Fraser McWright at 7, and then Jasper Wiese at 8. I was looking at Ardie Savea. Ardie Savea had a brilliant rugby championship, but the impact that the impact that Jasper Wiese made when he came back from suspension, it was a night and day performance from South Africa. We were so much more dominant with the with the ball to hand. We were so much more aggressive. It was just, we looked stronger, we looked faster, and yeah, I don't think Jasper Wiese has reached his limit yet. He's still getting better, and right now he's one of the most scary 8s in world rugby. So there are a lot of players. I mean, Wallace Atiti, he didn't play like a ridiculously good, but he did have some good performances. And that number 7 role was just so strong. I mean, in terms of the 6, I mean, you could have had Pablo Matera, you could have had Sia Kolisi, you could have had Simon Parker, or whichever 6 they wanted to play. I mean, Tupou Vaa'i, he had a little bit there, but he was mainly as a lock. There were so many different options, but honestly, the performance that Pieter-Steph put in throughout the entire championship, he played better than pretty much anybody else on that pitch. And then Fraser McWright showing that he truly is, if not the best breakdown specialist in world rugby. Fraser McWright is on a whole new level. I mean, this guy must have been averaging around 16 to 17 tackles per game, right? He was a thorn in everybody's foot. He made sure that he was an absolute nuisance, and it shows. Fraser McWright, in my opinion, he's one of the best, if not the best, breakdown specialist in World Rugby. The guy is phenomenal at the breakdown. So yeah, that was a very difficult choice. There were so many other different routes that you could have gone, because Marcus Kremer, he was a defensive magician. Like, the guy was just tackling left, right, and center. I think he actually has the most tackles in the Rugby Championship. The guy was on point. He was scary, and he's just built differently. He's just built thick. It's like, how do you move this man? You just like, you touch him and it just feels like you're touching stone. So yeah, he could have made it as well, but the performances that Fraser McRae put in, the performances that Peter Steph put in, yeah, I had to put them there. Now, in terms of my halfback pairing, I am going Kobus Reinach at 9. He was essential, and at the ripe age of 35 years old, this guy he looks like he's playing like a 29-year-old, like 28, 29 years old. He does not look like someone that can barely make the 2027 World Cup. He's looked after himself. He's playing brilliantly. He's so dangerous when it comes down to ball to hand. Those little sniping runs, the ability to move that ball on so quick, being in the right position at the right time. He was essential to the way the Springboks played, and I didn't want anybody other than Kobus at 9 and in the Rugby Championship. Like, Grant Williams was there. I'm really loving Morne van den Berg. I'm really, really loving him. I think we are going to definitely see a lot more of him. But yeah, Kobus, for me, the performances that he put in, team of the season worthy. The guy was ridiculous. And now, number 10 was another difficult one, because Jordie Barrett was pretty consistent throughout the Rugby Championship. We had so he was pretty consistent, and Sasha, he was pretty good as well. Obviously, he had that immense performance up against Argentina, but that one performance alone does not give me reason to have him in the team of the championship. Honestly, I'm putting Santi Carreras there. The performances that he put in, I think he was the top point scorer for. He was the top point scorer for the Argentinians, the Pumas, and I think he was also one of the top, if not the top point scorer of the Rugby Championship. The guy, pretty much everything that they ran came from Santi Carreras. He was distributing left, right, and center. He had some of the most beautiful passes that you're going to see just in general, and Carreras really solidified himself at that 10 position. Scary. Really, really scary. So he's getting that 10 spot for me. In terms of my wingers, I am going to be going Will Jordan at 11 and then Max Jorgensen at 14. You did have players like Cheslin Colby, he was brilliant, but I do think he was a little bit inconsistent. You had players like Corey Toole, who was pretty good. I wouldn't say like out of the park good. Leroy Carter was really good. He came on, put in some good performances, but not team of the season performances. Honestly, Will Jordan, for me, yes, he did play as the 15. He also played as the 14, but I'm putting him there at 11 because, even then you had like players like Ethan Hooker, who played at 11, who played really well, but I think the general performances that I saw from Will Jordan on the wing was phenomenal. The guy, he was brilliant. Yes, he did have his ups and downs, but honestly, personally, I'm picking Will Jordan as 11, although he doesn't play 11. He can play 11, but he's been playing at the 14 or the 15. But like I said, I'm not keeping everybody in like their exact position. It's more like a generalized position. And then Max Jorgensen at 14. Now, Max Jorgensen at the back end of the Rugby Championship ended up switching to 15. But I think it was mainly Andrew Callaway got injured. And then I forget the other 15. I think he also came off from injury as well. But yeah, Max Jorgensen, one of the most elite talents in world rugby right now. He's still so young. He's caused so many people hassle. He made an absolute meal of South Africa, and yeah, this was Max Jorgensen should not be playing this good at his age. He's on BLBRA standards. He's on the fast track to legendary status if he continues like this. So Max Jorgensen, Australia have really found a gem in Jorgensen, and my word, this guy's only going to get better. So he's coming at my 14. I think throughout the entire Rugby Championship, even though Australia were losing, he was still putting in solid performances. So he gets my 14. And then in terms of my centre partnership, I am going Choco Barres and I am going Suali'i. Now, some of you guys might not necessarily agree with this. I thought the performances that Chocobaras put in was inspiring. The guy, he showed what a 12 should do. And especially in a team that was struggling like Argentina, they were very physical. And Chocobaras really put in some seriously big performances. If Chocobaras did not put in these performances, that we could have seen Argentina struggle a lot more than what they actually did. So Chocobaras was everywhere, whether he was getting a try, whether he was putting in those big tackles. The guy was phenomenal. So he gets my number 12. And then that attacking presence of Suali'i, he was phenomenal. At 13, he was phenomenal. He made like some of the passes that he was doing, the space that he was finding, like up against South Africa, you know, you can tell that this guy's a next generation talent. You know, he is a generational talent, and he is only getting better. I mean, the guy must be like 6'4", 6'5", and you know, he's long, he's lanky, he's got everything you could potentially want as a 13. Yes, he does need to become defensively better, but all the attacking prowess, all of the attacking skills, he's got it, right? And he is the kind of guy that will change a game for you. So I thought the performances that he put in throughout the entire Rugby Championship was ridiculously good. Yes, there were a couple other different options that I could have chosen, but you know, that partnership, that Ikitau and Suali'i played really well. Jordie Barrett could have made that 12 as well. I wouldn't say anything in relation to Billy Proctor or Quintupaya. Quintupaya had a seriously good game, but not enough to give him a spot on this list. And then we had Kane Moody at 13, played pretty well, but again, like in the last game, he was very, you know, he was very gung-ho, and you know, he's very much a flight risk. So in terms of the 13 spot, the player for me that has played the most consistent throughout the Rugby Championship has been Suali'i. And then as my number 15, I am going Damian Willemse. Damian Willemse has put in inspired performances for the Springboks, and yeah, he's really made a lot out of nothing. The guy has worked magic, whether he's playing at 12, whether he's playing at 15. Essential, so crucial that this guy is to us, and I am so happy that we have a player like Damian Willemse in our squad, because when you have someone like him, you have someone like Sasha Feinberg, you have Kane Moody, you got Ethan Hooker, you know, all of these young players that are going to be coming through, you know, like Damian Willemse, it feels like he's been playing forever. I swear, it feels like he must be in his early 30s, how long this guy's been playing for us, but you know, no. So it shows the quality, the talent that this guy has. So this is my 15. This is my team of the championship. I'd love to know what yours are and give me reasoning. So a lot of you guys might not necessarily agree with me. I'd love to hear why you disagree with me. And yeah, as always, please like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.